Hello everyone. I am starting, not a vlog, but probably just like a 24 hours. I'm staying with my sister in her apartment in the city, and we are about to go get brunch, go to some bookstores. We're going all the way to Brooklyn, so we're gonna hit some bookstores, some thrift stores. And I just wanted to start here. I thought it'd be fun. I'm finally leaving my house, so little OOTD. My sister's rag and bones. My sister's oof. And then little Athleta bag. And I don't really need any books. I'm currently reading Nightbitch by Yoder, and it's killing it. I think it's so good. It definitely feels like Bunny by Mona Awad, and you know, I love that. So I'm having a great time with it. I am very red in the face. It is extremely hot in her room, but we're gonna go, and I'm very, very excited. Finally back. We've been gone quite literally the entire day. We went to a bunch of bookstores, a bunch of thrift stores. I was not as successful as Megan at the thrift stores. She's just a pro. She can like find anything in these random little racks, but she can also dedicate like a considerable period of her day to being in those stores, and I just don't have patience for it. But I did get a few books, so that's what we're gonna talk about, because that's what matters here. First up, The Only Good Indians by Stephen Graham Jones. This is one I am definitely reading this month in September. I'm reading it with Steffi. We both decided it would get us in like the spooky season mood. It's a horror book, which I'm very particular, as you might know, about my brand of horror that I'll try. I need to kind of expand my horizons, but this is almost like tipping towards the edge because it is paranormal, I believe. So it's a tale of revenge, cultural identity, and the cost of breaking from tradition. It is about 4 American Indian men, after a disturbing event in their childhood puts them in a desperate struggle for their lives, tracked by an entity bent on revenge. These childhood friends are helpless as the cultural and traditions they left behind catch up with them in a violent, vengeful way. So definitely paranormal, which I'm willing to try out. It sounds really interesting. I've heard pretty much only positive reviews of this, so the author is compared to the Jordan Peele of horror literature. So that was really the highest compliment. Then we have maybe the one I'm most excited about, and that is the Underland by Robert MacFarlane. So this is a nonfiction book. And when I saw it, I'm just thinking of like Richard Powers and even Vandermeer, because they just made me think about things. And Vandermeer is just expanding my mind, even in the fiction realm, but this is nonfiction. It's a epic exploration of Earth's underworld as they exist in myth, literature, memory, and the land itself. So through the dizzying expanse of geologic time, from prehistoric art in Norwegian sea caves to the blue depths of the Greenland ice cap, Greenland ice cap to a deep-sunk hiding place where nuclear waste will be stored for 100,000 years to come. So it's about the extraordinary journey into our relationship with darkness, burial, and what lies beneath the surface of both place and mind. This sounds fantastic. I'm very, very excited about this. And I think it's going to be science-heavy and maybe a challenge for me, because that is not usually something that I'm very comfortable in. So hopefully it will teach me a lot. And then, very weird one, I've never heard of it before. I've heard of the author, but this is Mouthful of Birds by Samantha Schweblin. So this is a tiny little book. So it's a collection of stories. The brilliant stories of Mouthful of Birds burrow their way into your psyche and don't let go. Schweblin haunts and mesmerizes in this extraordinary collection featuring women on the edge, men turned upside down, the natural world at odds with reality. We think life is one way, but often it's not. Our expectations for how people act, love, fear can all be upended. These stories will feel like a sleepless night where every shadow or bump in the darkness takes huge implications, leaving your pulse racing and the line between the real and the strange blurs. So I love a little bit of weirdness. This sounds fantastic. It's also a beautiful cover. One of the best. Is this focusing? Perhaps not, but I promise it's awesome. We could do a little try-on haul, but I'm very sweaty, and it's like layers of sweat, moisturizer with sunscreen, with the mask, and they're all layered on top of one another, so I'm not feeling my best. So probably gonna change out of these jeans, maybe make Megan do a try-on haul, because she got a lot of cute jumpsuits, if she's willing. Megan, are you willing to do a try-on haul?
A try-on?
A try-on. Like a little like strut your stuff, try-on. Here she comes. Meet the sister.
Hi.
From the same mister. Well, now you have to do it because I told the people. It's called editing. They want it. I can tell. Not that. They don't want that. Okay. They definitely don't. Okay. We'll be back. We'll decide if she's up for it today. Try on it. They're so cute.
Right.
I could just throw my sweaters over top, so it's very little work on my end, but she has to fully undress because she got some jumpsuits.
Ugh.
Can we convince her? Look at the beautiful Peloton. This Peloton is not Megan's, but it's one of the best perks of her apartment because her wonderful roommate has a Peloton. I could only dream. And Meg, you got a book today. She got one book. I think she will read it, but it's more of a coffee table book. And I don't have a coffee table yet because I live with my parents. So one day I'll have a beautiful array of coffee table books. But that's in the future. We're not worrying about that. Actually, a bit of news to share that I'm very excited about. I think I mentioned in my 1K Q&A that Marco and I are trying to plan a trip. Obviously, things could change on a dime. It's hard to make very strict plans, but we're going to do our best. But I got off for 2 whole weeks in November, which is, my heart was racing sending that email, but we got it. So now we need to plan, and we're gonna be away for Marco's birthday, so we're gonna have to make it special. But now we have to see like where we're allowed in, what are the protocols, what's the safest and best way to do it. But also I want it to be a really amazing trip, and I wanna go to some places that are on my bucket list, because taking 2 whole weeks off from work, like that's a big deal and it's not gonna happen often, so I want it to make it very worth it. I hear her.
We've got one.
We've got one. Where are you?
We've got a scarf.
This cute scarf.
Here we go. It's too much for the...
Okay, Megan's in one of her thrifted outfits and I say it's too revealing. so Mom wouldn't be happy. It's very sheer. I'll show them. This is the coffee table book. Pussypedia. It actually looks interesting. I just like, are you actually going to like read this?
Yes.
I'm not at all convinced that you're going to read this. It's
There's
very
science.
aesthetically beautiful. Can I have my sweater? My sweater is not inappropriate. I'm not putting it on. It's very long sleeves, and it is my favorite color. I'm a autumn and winter dresser and soul. I hate summer.
You're also wearing my shirt and my belt.
I told them that already. Don't try to make me feel bad about it now. Okay. Megan needs to pack. So that is my little haul. It was a very exciting day. I don't come into the city often. I get very overwhelmed, but I want to move into the city soon, so I kind of need to take control of the situation and find my way around without relying on other people. So, challenging myself, going outside of my comfort zone. But very excited about all these 3 books. I know I'm reading this one very shortly, these 2, hopefully by the end of the year, even though the end of the year is catching up to us. And in the fall and winter months, I like to read pretty big books. I like to get just sucked into one big book and read it for a considerable period of time. And I don't know how many books I can get through, but I'm already well past my Goodreads goal because maybe I didn't have enough faith in myself and I actually am able to read more than I thought. But since starting my new job, I just haven't had the time, so a lot of my reading was done before starting work. So I was just finding a new rhythm with it, but I'm very excited about the books to come, and maybe I'll do like an end of year TBR or what I'm prioritizing in the next few months before 2022. I will probably check in later. We are actually going home this evening. We have a train back to my hometown with my sister and her friend because we are all doing our individual beach weekends because it's Labor Day weekend. So I'm off Friday through Monday, which is a beautiful thing. So just relax, read, maybe swim. I can't actually swim because since my last vlog where I read All's Well by Mona Awad and I had that ear infection, the issue is not resolved. I don't want to talk about it. I'm on steroids and another medication, and I have to go back in another 2 weeks, and who knows what's going to happen. It's very upsetting. And actually the doctor validated I totally fell really badly a few weeks ago, and my entire knee is still destroyed and it looks pretty disgusting. And he validated that I might be clumsy, but it's more than that my ear is like throwing off my balance and my homeostasis. So it makes me feel a little bit better that it's not all my fault. But hopefully that gets resolved soon. It's not as painful anymore, but I just know it's not right. And they tested my hearing and they did the whole thing. They put me in that big box. So more to come on that, but hopefully the issue resolves itself with just the new steroids and medicine I'm on, because I do not want to have to get a tube in my ear like they suggested. That would be awful. So hopefully it doesn't come to that. I'm not great with anything medical. I'm not brave in that respect. So, mini book haul. So I ended that video very abruptly, so I thought I would pop in now to kind of wrap it up. But also, a few exciting things have happened since I filmed that video. One being that Piranesi won the Women's Prize for Fiction. I know not everyone is thrilled, but I'm so happy. If you watched my video where I read the shortlist, you know that Piranesi would have been my winner. Maybe alongside Transcendent Kingdom, but Piranesi is my favorite on the shortlist. And I'm just so happy for Susanna Clarke, and her acceptance speech was so beautiful, talking about how Piranesi is the book that she never thought she'd be well enough to write. So it was just such a beautiful moment, and I'm so happy for her. And I actually think I will reread Piranesi before the end of the year. I would want to anyway, but I also think that I've been talking to so many people about it that I just want to reread it. There was so much packed into that book, but I also sped through it because I was so in love with it that I do think to revisit it now would be a good idea. But I'm just so happy. I know that it has divided the masses, but for me that book is so, so special and just like a beautiful piece of fiction. So I'm thrilled for Susanna Clarke. And in other news, I am currently reading Beautiful World, Where Are You?, as is The World. And I'm kind of a fake fan, because I read Normal People in like March of this year, and I really, really enjoyed it much more than I thought I would. I'm not somebody who thought I would enjoy reading about a couple and their relationship issues, but Normal People is so much more than that, and I did really enjoy it. I have not read Conversations with Friends, So that's why I say I'm like a fake fan. So I wasn't like going into this book expecting to love or hate it or feel neutral. I just thought like, I'll read it and see. Like a lot of people were like dying to read this and I was so excited, but like I said, I just don't have the history with Rooney that a lot of people have. But I am here to report about, how many pages am I in? 140 pages in. I am loving this book much more than I loved Normal People. I think it's so cool because Rooney is such a young author that we really are. Her books are maturing with her audience, and the people who fell in love with Normal People when it came out were really like all maturing together. So I just think it's so exciting, and I'm so happy for her that she kind of wrote a book that she's like responding to the criticism but doing it in her own way, and it just feels really like masterfully done. And I'll talk about it in my wrap up. I'm not going to make any like Rooney content. I feel like the world is doing that and I don't need to like put my 2 cents in, but I am loving this. And I really think this is like her best work that I've read so far. Like I said, I haven't read the other one, but this just feels like she's really like kind of like in her stride. And there's so many moments in this book. I haven't written in the book just because I feel like it's too beautiful to write in, but I'm definitely like tabbing pages where like her writing just is so beautiful, and she really is like encapsulating what it means to be writing contemporary fiction and everything that means and everything she's trying to cover. And I love the back and forth between the almost like rigidly observant sections where really just the woman Alice, the woman Eileen, and then going between those sections, the emails between these two friends, it really shows like a certain self-awareness, and it avoids being overly sentimental but really making you like feel all these emotions at the same time. So I'm loving the juxtaposition of those two styles. More to come on that end in my September wrap-up, but I wanted to finish this video out here and say thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you very soon in my next one. Bye everyone.